again, we thank God for you that are here, and we bless God, amen, for what he's done already. I just want to encourage you. You know what James, the Apostle James says that we need to become not just hearers, but we have to also become what? Doers. And it doesn't matter how much information you obtain. You get a lot of information, but information within itself is nothing. If there's no application to that, what I've learned, then it's meaningless for me to have learned it. And what we're endeavoring to do is to talk about marital issues and things that will enhance, bring more joy. And I know some of y'all are happy right now, you're in love right now, and hallelujah, praise God for the love. But how many know that as you keep on living, yes, things are going to come your way? Yeah. Things that you did not even expect that were going to happen, going to come your way. So you've got to be prepared and ready. And it's good to have, amen, the word of God. David said that word, what I hid in my heart, that I may not sin against thee. Yeah, I want you to know tonight that we're grateful. I personally can testify to all of you and tell you all that I wouldn't be here tonight if I did not have a praying woman. I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. I would have gave up a long time ago. But thank God for my war room. I got my own personal war room. And I thank God because the fact that, amen, that there are times where we fall short. And thank God, because nobody, the writer said, if we say we have no sin, we make God a liar. Come on, somebody. And so we all, and we could sin through omission or we could sin through commission. Yes. In other words, that's something I should have done, but I didn't do. And that's on the other side, the things I'm doing that I know I shouldn't be doing. So we will understand that there are two sins that we commit. We commit the sin of omitting to do something or committing the sin of doing something that I shouldn't do. Jesus said, this ought to have done and not left the other undone. So when it comes to relationship, it's so important that we honor one another. Nobody is going to honor your spouse like you. All right. Amen. Y'all got quiet on that. But nobody is not going to elevate or exhort or lift up your spouse like you can. Amen. Matter of fact, their affirmation is not dependent upon their mama. Their affirmation is not dependent upon their family member. You know, your spouse's affirmation comes from you. You encourage them, and when you give them words of kindness, words of exhortation, you know they'll run them out. They'll do whatever they got to do because they are encouraging. And when you encourage them, and when you say kind words to them, and when you tell them, baby, you can make it. There are times when I've been wanting to throw in the towel. And my wife said, baby, you can make it. Go on. Seemed like a wind get up inside of me. I used to run track. And I used to run cross country, and I used to run a lot. And I found out that in running, that they call a thing called a second wind. Anybody ever heard of second wind? Yeah. Where you feel like you're down, and all of a sudden a spike of adrenaline hit in your being, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you gain strength. That's what your spouse does. When your spouse affirms you, it gives you another swift adrenaline rush that will bring you excitement and enthusiasm. Even when you feel like you're going down, amen, your spouse will give you joy. There was a man who was on his deathbed. He was getting ready to die. And all of a sudden, love walked in his life. And he said, death, wait a minute. I found me somebody that's motivated. He was on his last leg, getting ready to give up on life. He was depressed. He was discouraged. He was despondent. But one thing, he found love. I want you to know tonight that love will bring you from the grave. Y'all don't believe that. I said love will bring you from the grave. When you are down and out, when somebody that you know love you, they can will you back to strength. They'll will you back to health. They'll will you back to joy. All right. It's important. Amen. Marriage. How many believe marriage is 50-50? How many believe that? Put your hand down. I won't embarrass you. Because it ain't 50-50. If you ain't all the way in, you're in trouble. Y'all hear what I'm saying? If you got 50% in, then where the other 50% out? You got to be all the way in. You ought to tell your spouse right now, I'm all the way in. You got to tell yourself, I'm all the way in. Come rain or shine, come hell or high water, I'm all the way in. Amen. I remember years ago when I first met my wife, almost 40 years ago. I met my wife, amen. I was all the way in. I threw away my clothes. I threw away my shoes. Amen. I made a transformation. You know, how many of your spouse will cause you to make a transformation? Amen. The things that you used to do, guess what? Y'all trying to make it salvation. But you know, sometimes in a relationship, amen, the things that you used to do, you won't do those things no more. Why? Because I got my girl. And you know, David Ruffin, I told y'all last night, I use those expressions. But David Ruffin said, I got sunshine on a cloudy day. And when it's cold outside, I even got the month of May. I want you to know that your spouse will change your attitude. I don't care what it is outside and how it might be looking outside when your loved one is on your side. Amen. No matter how glim, how doom, or how dreary, amen, you got sunshine. When I look at my baby, I got sunshine. When I see her smile, I see sunshine. Amen, somebody. You got to, you know, in Ziklag, the Bible said that David had to encourage himself in the Lord. There are times where you're going to have to encourage yourself, and sometimes you just got to put your hand on your spouse and let them know, baby, I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. I'm in it all the way. Oh, say amen, somebody. You know, we as especially men, we understand that the Bible says, well, wives, submit yourselves to your own husband. Amen. That's scriptural. Now I know that we're living in a liberated time, and ain't no man gonna be talking over charging. That brings dysfunction. That brings dysfunction, and that don't mean that the man lord over the woman. It just means God gives a man perspective and keep things in a way where it's not chaotic. So it says, women, submit yourselves to your husband. And it says, husband, love your wife even as Christ loved the church. Amen. Y'all know Christ loved the church. So men, we ought to love. Now, that is problematic. Now, I know that there's some men that don't love themselves. And if you don't love yourself, I don't think you're going to be able to love a wife, children. You can't even love a dog if you don't love yourself. Oh, y'all don't want to talk to me. But you got to love yourself. And when you love yourself, then you'll treat your loved one right. You don't have to, amen, take it out on your loved one because somebody else did you wrong. But you treat your loved one with all due respect and love and kindness. I said last night to those that were not here, I said how that when you're cooking, you use a cookbook. Everybody know that. If you're just cooking grits, if you're cooking grits, they got quick grits. Just put it in the water and boil. Put a little salt and put a little butter, and that's all. You ain't got to do a lot if you're cooking grits. But now if you want to cook something sophisticated, like maybe a lasagna, I think it'd be good. I love lasagna. Y'all make me get hungry over here. Yeah. You make some good old collard greens. You just can't just throw no collard greens together and put them in the microwave and start cooking them. But you got to put them in that crock pot, or you put them on the stove and you put the stove down low. And now what I normally do is mine, I throw a ham hock into his mine. Some folks cook them and they cook them just enough, and you touch the ham hock and it's still hard. You can hurt somebody with a ham hock because it's still hard. But I put mine down till when you touch it, it disintegrates into the collard greens. Can I get a witness somebody? When we know how to cook, when we don't know how to cook, some of us we've learned by watching others as they cook.
That's right.
Some of us been watching our grandmama. Y'all got your grandmama recipes.
Yes,
y'all cooking what grandma showed you how to cook.
That's right.
And you're doing a great job with what you've learned. But we look at that also in marriage, because sometimes we look at other folks' marriage and then we try to imitate and try to be like somebody else. But how many know what will build a one-man house can destroy another man's house? See, y'all don't want to talk about that. There is no such thing as one rule fits all. You can't put it all to everybody and lump us all the same. But we all are unique. The Bible says we're wonderfully and we're fearfully made. So God uses us in our uniqueness. So when we deal with our wives, if you will, it talks about in 1 Peter, 1 Peter 3, and we won't let the evangelist get going in just a minute. But in 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter, in some verse, he says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them, the wives, according to knowledge. If you've been with your wife, if you've been with your girlfriend, ought to be something you ought to know about. If you've been with your boyfriend, there's something you ought to have learned in the time that you've been with them. You ought to know what words, that certain words called trigger words. Anybody heard of a trigger word? Oh, yeah. It's a word that'll make you see red. It's a word that make you get outside of yourself. A trigger word. So when I have been with my wife for a period of time, I know certain things that's going to be a trigger that's going to cause her, amen, to become a kind of upset or disturbed or angry. You can't say mad because we humans, we don't get mad. Animals get mad. But all we can do is get angry. But the Bible says don't sin now. You can get angry, but don't sin. Don't let the sun go down. You got to express how you feel. Amen. But don't let your expression become simple. I don't believe that no man should ever put his hand on a woman. Say that. Or let me rephrase that. I don't believe no woman should be beating up on no man. Let me say that again. I believe that we should keep our hands to ourselves. If words cannot convey, if words cannot express my attitude and how I feel, then let me take that time out. Because I don't think nothing is worth getting physical. Anytime a relationship it evolves into physicality, it's time to get out that relationship. Oh, it's happening in the church. Oh, you got some deacons in the church busting them on their, well, I ain't gonna go there. But I'm just saying, y'all. That's fine. If it breaks the ranks of and get to physicality, then that's problematic. If we cannot resolve our issue, communicating one with the other, then we won't have a problem. Amen. Amen. We got to understand that marriage is 100% all in. Amen. You got to be all in for better, for worse, richer, poor, sickness, and health. Reverend Edmonds, you don't mind if I just talk about you for a minute? Go ahead. I didn't get a chance to call you to ask you, but you don't mind. No, sir. Go ahead, help me. Reverend Edmonds. Wife had strokes about how long ago?
Oh, it's been a year and 2 months now.
About a year and 2 months. His wife had a stroke. And that stroke really captivated her. Yeah. And she was not able to speak, move, or do anything. That's right. And she was admitted into the care center. Yes, sir. And that brother, regardless of her condition, you know what he did? He stand right by his wife. That's what it's about. You know, y'all heard the song about the denied mother? Yes, sir. Hey, man, when things get tough, they say when the going get tough, the tough get going, your folk will run when times get tough. Give me a rag, please. It's hot now. Okay, that's what prophet got for me. But, you know, it's when the times get rough, That's when, it's the challenge is not when you got good money in your pocket. The challenge is not when everybody laughing and having a good time. You know what really develops a marriage? Is when trouble and turbulence and trials and tribulations go. You want to find out if you really got a good husband? You want to find out if you got a good wife? Get cancer.
Yes, sir. Wait a minute. Come on, baby.
Lose your money.
No, you're right about it.
Job buried 3 daughters and 7 sons the same day.
Same day, Lord.
His wife said, man, you ought to curse God and die. You could tell you got somebody that's with you. Because no matter what's going on, they're going to stand with you. And you know what a good relationship is when your partner is your friend.
All right.
Y'all hear what I'm saying? I said a good relationship is when your partner is your friend. That you can confide in your partner. You can share your deep, innermost secret, and they're not going to ridicule you and criticize you and condemn you on what you do. But you know what they're going to do? They're going to put their arm around and say, baby, I understand. I know where you're at, girl. I was with my wife, and she was going through the other day, and I'm going to share with y'all because I'm a tough guy. But I broke down with tears in my eyes because I seen her struggling with so much pain, and I felt so helpless. Hey, and there are times in your marriage where you're not going to be able to fix it. You can't fix everything. But all they want to know is, are you there with me? That's the consolation. That's the comfort that they need to know that, babe, I know you can't fix it, but I know you're there with me. And you're going through it with me while I'm going through this valley of this shadow of death. I know that you're with me. And that makes all the difference in the world. I think, brothers, also, too, that we ought to protect our wives, our family. Amen. One of the most discouraging things I see is when your loved one, God calls them home. And you got to go to a GoFundMe page.
Yeah, Lord.
All right, you said something.
I need a GoFundMe page so I can cremate my wife, cremate my husband, because we made no consideration for the inevitable. We need to be prepared and take care of our loved ones.
Yes, sir.
There was a guy who worked for the school system for about almost 60 years. He worked for the school system. And the school system said to him, hey, you're getting ready to retire. There's multiple ways you can get your retirement. And this way you can protect your family by your retirement. What I did, I'm retired military. I'm retired Air Force. I spent over 20 years in the military. And I've been about 40, almost 30 some years in civil service. So I'm retired military and I'm also retired civil service. So that's why I ride a Bentley. The church didn't buy me no Bentley. I didn't rob the church. Amen, somebody. But what I'm saying to you is that when it was time for me to retire from the military, they said, well, Sergeant Boyd, what is it that you want to do in terms of your retirement? I said, I'll take half of my retirement so that if something were to happen to me, my wife would still get my retirement. Amen. They don't want to do that. But you can elect that. This individual, what he said, well, I've been married for 40-some years, but when I retired, I want it all. And he took it all. And about months later, he died and left his wife with nothing. Oh, come on, y'all. Her quality of life changed overnight. We need, as brethren, to be conscious, to make sure, especially when we are the breadwinner of our family. If you're the breadwinner of your family, you ought to make sure that you have a contingency plan in place for your family, because you are the breadwinner. And so it's important how we deal and interact with each other. Your spouse has to be so important to you that nothing else will take the back. Now y'all, you already know God first. Now, so I don't need to say that. Y'all already know that. Because without God, your marriage is not going to make it. Your marriage is not going to make it. Come on now. Your marriage is not going to make it without God on your side. Matter of fact, some of y'all, the reason why you're still hanging on is because the glue is God. Some of y'all would have walked away from your relationship a long time ago. But somebody said, what is this that keep holding the reins? I want to run, but it won't let me. Amen. I want you to know that God's Spirit. God bless you, Pastor. How y'all doing tonight? So happy to see you all. But we just trying to encourage you that it says to a husband that we got to dwell according to the knowledge. According to knowledge, it says, giving honor unto your wife. You got to give honor to your wife.
Right.
The Bible says, submit yourself one to the other.
That's the word.
In the fear of God. See, we look at one another. You know, that's a scripture out of Ephesians, the 6th chapter, that says we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. So oftentimes we be dealing with the individual, and it's not necessarily the individual.
Yes, sir.
There is sometimes Peter was walking with Jesus. Peter was walking with Jesus. And Jesus began to tell him, that Peter, these events are going to occur. And Peter said, not so, Lord, be a prophet. And Peter, but Jesus turned and said, get thee behind me, Satan.
Yeah.
That was Peter. But he did not recognize Peter as Peter. He recognized the spirit. And oftentimes we're trying to fight physical, natural things that are spiritual. We're trying to deal with spiritual issues by natural means. In other words, I'm going to argue with you, and really, it's not you. It's that spirit in you. Let's reduce the spirit in you. Now, don't get in front of your husband and say, Lord, you don't do that. Don't do that. Mumbling under your bed, friend. You bring that spirit. The Bible says the weapons of our warfare, they're not carnal, but they're mighty through God, through the pulling down of strongholds and everything that exalts itself against the knowledge of God is being able to be brought into to captivity to the obedience of the will and the word of God. So what I'm saying to you today is that no matter where you're at in your relationship always can get better. I thank God for my wife and the relationship that we have, but believe me, through many toils and snares, we have come. It was grace that brought us, and grace gonna lead us home. We would be married right now. If anybody should be married, it should be me and my wife. But thank God I got a praying woman. I ain't scared to say it, y'all. I'm not scared to say it. I thank God. Amen. And we have to understand that God, whomsoever God joined together, no devil in hell will stop it. You may falter, you may fail. A righteous man may fall what? 7 times. What does 7 mean? 7 means complete. But he said by here, lift them up. So thank God for grace. And that's how you have to operate in your relationship. Don't be so holy and judgmental that you can't have grace. Grace has to abound in every situation. The Bible says, where sin abound, God's grace did what? Much more abound. So in your relationship should be built on grace. Not only that, but your relationship should be built on the fruit of the Spirit being activated in your life. You should have the 9 gifts, or some of those gifts being activated in your life. You should have meekness. You walk in the house, I dare to talk to me. I dare to see. No, we should be walking meekness. We should have patience. That's a fruit of the Spirit. Not fruits as an S, as in plural, but all of that is one fruit. Those 9 fruit is one fruit. And those fruit need to be operating in our marriage. We should have 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, operating in our lives, that we should have charity. Though we have speak with the tongue of men and angels and don't have no love, we profiteth nothing. Some of us, and I promise, baby, it's your time. Some of us, the reason why you here is because your spouse been praying for you. Some of you that are here right now, it's not that you've been good and righteous, but you got a covering. You see, guess what? Abraham was the blessing, but Isaac and Jacob were the recipients of the blessing of Abraham. So sometimes God will honor your mama, sometimes God will honor your grandparent, sometimes God will honor your husband, sometimes God will honor your wife, and sometimes we stick our chest out as though we got it, but no, it is because of the grace of God that we are moving and that we have. The Bible says in Him we move and we have what? Our being. Come on, baby.
Come on, give God a hand of praise. I tell you, he just did a wonderful job, didn't he? He did a wonderful job. I was listening at him as he was talking about some of those soul lyrics, and he's the only preacher I know that can take soul lyrics and put them together and make a sermon out of it. He'll preach them so till he'll have brothers stand up and clap over soul lyrics. You know, he got me for a long time with those. I thought he was just such an original. I didn't recognize any of them. And I said, listen at him. He just rolled them together off his tongue so smooth. Finally, I found out some of the songs. They were real bad. But I thank God for Bishop. I thank God for him. He's just a great man. He's a great speaker. He's a great individual. And I praise God and I thank God all the time. I said, Lord, I thank you for sending him into my life. Because that Bishop could have been married to anybody. But I thank God. I thank God that God allowed me to be a part of his life. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful. On yesterday, I started by talking about how we all want the security of feeling significant. We all want to feel loved and accepted for who we are. Yeah. Nobody want to get married and feel like you've been married just to be reborn and to be changed. You want to be loved for who you are. Amen. You want to be accepted, even with all of your faults and your failures. You don't want them to be all pointed out, but you want to be accepted for the person that you are. And in the way that you want to be accepted, you also have to accept your companion in the same way. All right. You can't be pointing out all of their shortcomings and expect them to feel the same way that they felt about you when they first met you, because you wouldn't have been together if you had been doing that in the beginning. Amen. So it's important that we love and appreciate each other and accept each other for who we are. I talked on yesterday about living within our means. I said that we can't have a Volkswagen paycheck or salary and live a Mercedes life. You have to live within your means. Amen. I used the illustration of a wife laying down at night and waking up the first thing in the morning in her apartment and saying, husband, I want a house today. Let's go house shopping. And he asked her how much money she has saved away, and she says, none, but let's go look at a house. You made no preparations for the house that you want to live in, but you're nagging him and begging him for a house. It don't work that way. You have to make preparations. You have to save. You have to set aside some money. And it's always good if the wife is able to set aside something somewhere and out of whatever money comes into your hands. Amen. You may not always have enough to set up a separate bank account, but you ought to have something set aside for a rainy day. Amen. That if the husband ever get in a tight and and he don't know where any money is coming from. He said, I don't even have gas to put in the car. You can go in your little secret stash and say, I got such and so set aside. You know he can't help but appreciate you because you've been wise enough to set aside something in a rainy day.
Come on here.
For a rainy day when the sun was shining.
Yes, Lord.
So it's good to always set something aside that you'll have some money for later on.
Yes.
I want to talk also about our financial security. Said on last night that financial security is not based on how much you make, but it's based on how much you save. And how much you save is based upon how much you spend. You can't be always spending money and expect to have something later on in life. You have to know how to save. For every problem, there is a solution. For every challenge, there's a reward. Remember, the way to the crown is by way of the cross. And in every marriage, you're going to encounter a cross. But you got to be strong enough together to hold hands and bear your cross. You can't be so quick to want to throw in the towel. Because if you always have your mind on quitting, you'll never reach 36 years of marriage. Coming this July the 16th will mean 36 years for Bishop and I. We've been married 36 years. Going for 37. You have to deal with your problems. Not dealing with your problems don't solve them. All it does is make room for them to grow larger.
All right.
Our verbal communication is so important. It's important that you communicate. That husband and wife take time to talk, not at each other, but to each other. Verbal compliments are important. It's important that when your wife put on a new dress, you may not notice it every time, but every now and then you want to tell her how pretty she looked in her new dress. If it happens to be an old one, she'll appreciate it even more. Compliments work. Because just like he feels good, or the husband, you feel good when she compliments you and tell you how you have lost that pot belly. She feels good when you tell her how nice she looks with her new hairdo. It's important to be there. To be there for your spouse when they're going through the greatest emergency of their life, when they're going through storms, when they've lost their loved one, their mother or their father, their sister or their brother. The fact that you're there, even if you don't do very much, the fact that you're there with an arm around their shoulder, that you can hold them when tears are streaming down their face. Just being there means so much. That you're not absent from the most important events in their life. Being there means so much that they'll remember the fact that you were there long after the event is over. They'll remember that. The reason I say so is there was a couple of months ago that I was in so much pain and my medicine wasn't working. I'd taken everything that I had. I'd been to the doctor and it wasn't getting any better. And I sat there and I just cried and I cried. I couldn't do anything else. Bishop got up from his side of the bed late that night and came on my side, sat on the side of the bed and just held me. Just rocked me like I was his baby. It's been months, but I have not forgotten it. It wasn't what he said. It was what he did. Just being there. Being there to hold me in my time of need. It meant more than any words that he could have ever said. And yes, I saw him do something, I wouldn't have mentioned it, but I saw him do something the other day that I had hadn't seen him do since his brother passed. I was in a lot of pain, and I turned over and I saw Bishop sitting there. And so many nights he does. I can wake up sometimes 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. I can turn over and I see Bishop sitting on the computer, looking at all kinds of doctors and looking up medication, trying to find something to help me. But he felt so helpless at that time that I sat there and I saw him break down and cry. It didn't show weakness. It showed me how much he loved me.
Amen.
How much he cared. That he went for me. Because he felt so helpless that there was nothing else that he could do. So I'm saying to you tonight, brothers, be there for your wife. Wives, be there for your husbands. It's not about what you can do all the time. It's not about what you can say all the time. But your presence means a lot. Just being there. I remember a young man I was talking to some years ago, and his wife was going through, and he was on the basketball court playing basketball. And I asked him, I said, why aren't you with your wife? He said, it's nothing I can do. And I told him then, I said, you can be there.
That's right.
You can be with her.
Right.
He dropped his ball. He left the court and went to be with his wife. Sometimes just being present means a lot. Wives, it's important that you affirm your husbands. You shouldn't look at their ideas all the time and just cast them aside. Count them as dumb, ignorant, and stupid. Because one of these days, you may see your husband sitting on the sofa, thumbing through your wedding album, and saying, yes, I do make some stupid decisions. We have to make sure that a compliment, men, remain a compliment. Sometimes a woman will go through great stresses to lose weight, and she'll show off her new dress after she's lost a certain amount of pounds to be able to fit in something that she wanted to wear. And you compliment her and say, baby, you look beautiful. You really look nice. And before she can smile and say thank you, you say, yeah, you look nice now, but last month you had that whale thing on. You just ruined what could have been a beautiful experience. I said on last night that we have to be careful and considerate of the gift that we give, because it's important what we give. We have to put some thought in the gift we give, not just give anything. Amen. This wife, she asked her husband, she said, did you get me an anniversary gift? And he said, yes, I got you an anniversary gift. And she was excited. She said, what'd you get me? And he said, I got you a cemetery plot. She said, a cemetery plot? What? She said, well, at least you thought about me. You got me something. Next year, she said, baby, did you get me a gift for my anniversary? He said, no, I didn't get you nothing. You didn't use the gift I bought you last year. We say cleanliness is next to godliness. I want to change that and say, let's not be next to it. Let's not be next to cleanliness. Let's be clean.
All right.
So do we have to talk about that? Yes, we need to talk about that too. Because not every husband, not every wife maintains themselves like they should. No husband wants to embrace their wife and have to take 2 steps backwards.
Amen.
I know that's right.
No wife want to come near their husband and can't stand the odor.
Amen.
Because there's no sanitation present. We should be careful that whatever it took to get that man or get that woman, we got to do the same thing to keep her. The woman should walk around in curlers from the time she get up in the morning till she lay down at night. And the husband sees her in a dress and think they must be going somewhere. Because the only time she put on some clothes is when they're leaving the house. Husbands and wives should not be afraid of the toothbrush. That when you smile, everybody is so distracted by what's on your teeth that the conversation goes lacking. Says, should we have this conversation? Yes, we have to have this conversation. Because I see people losing it because sometimes people want to say things and they can't say them. But tonight, because we're having a marriage ministry, Bishop and I can say the things that you can't say. It's important that we maintain ourselves. Yes. No one should smell you in a negative way before you get to them. That's right. Your children's little friends shouldn't be embarrassed to bring their friends to the house because they don't know what they're going to walk into. They don't know whether the house is going to be a wreck, there's going to be dishes all over the sink, or their friends can't get up the step for all the underclothes that's on the stairs. You see, there are some ways that we should not keep house, and that's one of them. We talk about keeping house, but that's one of the ways that we should not keep house. So let's not be next to godliness or next to cleanliness. Let's be clean. Now, there are times when the house may fall behind. You may have kitchen things left in the kitchen or things left in the bedroom. That happens in every household. But it shouldn't be common to every household. Let it not be your household. Let it not be your household that is always tore up from the floor up. God wants some men that will realize that the prayer closet is the most important closet in the house. Amen. Your wife should hear you pray sometimes. Your sons and your daughters should know that they got a praying mama and daddy. They ought to hear mama and daddy pray sometimes. But if there's no agreement between husband and wife, the prayers of the husband are hindered. It's hindered like a rag that's stopping up a drainage. Those prayers can't go through. Those prayers are hindered. So you can't go upside your wife one moment verbally and down the other side the next moment and go get in your prayer closet and pray hard. Because your prayers are only going to the ceiling and back. So if you want to pray and you want to be a praying man, you want to be a praying woman, you got to be on one accord in that house. Amen. We should not live in such a household that we have to peep out the window to make sure that the pastor is not at the door before we open it. Because we are arguing so loudly that we'll be ashamed to open the door. Men, brothers, appreciate the woman in your life. Because when God made woman, he didn't just use a spare reel. He used a prime reel.
Yes, right. Oh, yeah.
He made a perfect companion. beautiful, desirable, and absolutely lovely. Adam woke up saying, this is bone of my flesh, bone of my bone, and flesh of my flesh. They were intellectually and spiritually one, and they completely enjoyed each other with no sin. No sin, no shame, and absolutely nothing to hide. Let's talk for a moment about the hurt partner. Sometimes in marriages, one partner may become wounded for one reason or another. And it seems like the marriage is not going to work. The one that causes the offense is the only one that can bind that family back together again. And you can't play, well, I'm going to wait till he break the ice, or I'm going to wait till she break the ice. If you know that you are the offending partner, you got to swallow your pride and go to the one that you offended. And don't be ashamed to use those two words, I'm sorry.
Amen.
It won't make you look weak. It will make you look strong in the eyes of the one that hear it. Don't feel that you're such a man that you can't humble yourself. Don't be proud. Don't be high-minded. Don't be lifted up and think you can't say I'm sorry. Try it. Yes, you can. You can say I'm sorry. And you can use those words, I love you. You can say it often. You can say it proudly. You can say it with all of your heart. Don't just assume that your partner knows because you've been there and you're still there that they know that you love them. Don't assume that they know that they're loved. They need to hear the words, I love you. And you need to speak the words, I love you. Husbands need to listen to their wives. But wives should make their husbands listen too long. So wives, you shouldn't talk so long that your husbands have to listen so long. Ah, you got it. People hear what you say, they learn from who you are, and they copy what you do. So what you say, who you are, and what you do, it speaks to your character. Because your actions do speak louder than your words. So be careful of what you say, show who you are, and know that somebody may copy what you do. Forgiveness is mandatory in relationships. If you want a healthy, strong relationship, you've got to ask forgiveness, and you've got to be the one to forgive. You can't hold grudges in marriages. You can't play tit for tat or wait for an opportunity to get that loved one back. It won't work. It brings about destruction in your home. Love makes requests, not demands. When requests are made, submitting is easy. It's important to respect each other as adults. And when you need to, say I'm sorry, stand tall, and let that loved one know that you love them more than anything or anybody else in this world. You love them enough to say, I'm sorry. We should discuss differences without bringing condemnation. You shouldn't put your spouse down at every opportunity you have. You should build them up. Work at lifting them up. Because when they're exalted and they're complimented, you're exalted. You're complimented as well. Our marriage, as well as our ministries, those that have ministries, they go through tests, and your marriage and your ministry is only as strong as the test you pass. God works to perfect us by trying us with fire, burning away the impurities and bringing us to greater strengths than we could ever imagine. Trials should strengthen our relationships. Relationship is personal. Salvation is personal. Nothing impersonal can truly be satisfying. I'm going to skip for a moment because I realize I got about 10 minutes before 8, and there's a couple of things I want to get in before I turn it over to Bishop again. One of the things I want to include, let you know that love is faithful. There are some things that you won't do because you won't dishonor your spouse. If you love your mate, you will declare in your heart and say, there are some things I can't do. I can't do it because I love my husband. I love my wife. I can't do this great wickedness and sin against God. Love is the most powerful force on earth. You heard Bishop. He said love can pull you back from the grave. Because God is love. There are 3 things that can quickly destroy a marriage: bad communication, bad financial habits, and bad sex. There are 3, I said no children. There are 3 basic sins that will destroy a home: the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. There are 3 things that can help save a marriage. Number 1, good communication. Number 2, good communication. Number 3, good communication.
I know that's right.
We sometimes need to circumcise our marriage. That is, we need to cut away the things of the past. We need to invite God into our marriage, and especially the bedroom, where a lot of problems arise, from finance to relationship. Agree not to rehearse negative situations. Build on fresh ground. Circumcise your marriage by cutting away the old coverings and expect new growth. God is not a magician, but he does work miracles. Got a couple more minutes. I got about 4 minutes. The one thing that makes you strong is not your money, it's not how good you are in bed, it's not your popularity, it's not your talent. The one thing that makes you strong is your humility. How humble are you in your marital relationship that you can confess your faults to your wife and be strong enough to bear the consequences. And in the end, let them know how much you love them. Be strong enough to say, I'm sorry. Say, I love you. Say it often, but show it more. Anything worth having is worth fighting for. Work at staying together. People and things look better together. Even if you only have 2 teeth, they look better together. Oh, got 3 minutes.
Take 5.
Oh, he told me don't worry about it. Listen to each other. There are 3 words for success. As I said a minute ago, there are 3 words for success in any marriage. And what are they? What's number 2? What's number 3? You got it. You got it. Let me say a word to the singles for a moment. Singles, pursue God and not a man. Your life should not be totally involved in running down a man. Because a woman should not pursue a man. A man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. So you go hide and let him find you. Don't Don't ignore warning signs when you have a companion, you have a friend, you bring him around all of your friends, and they all tell you this is not the man for you. Don't ignore all those warning signs. Not everyone is wrong.
Amen.
Don't underestimate your worth and feel you must settle for less because the clock is ticking. Don't marry with the intent of changing your man. Remain honest and don't compromise your standards. When you're going into a relationship with a man and you do not believe in sex before marriage, don't compromise that.
I know that's right.
He may tell you that you can't get nobody better than him. That's a signal. Let him go. Look at him more inward than you do outward.
Amen.
He may look good on the outside, but he may be empty on the inside. Enjoy being single. Don't think that you're not complete because you don't have anyone. Take yourself out to dinner. You can eat by yourself with a rose on your table.
All right.
Celebrate yourself every now and then.
All right.
Single ladies, if your date can't come to the door and pick you up, don't settle for a horn honking in the driveway.
Oh, come on.
Pass that on to your daughters. Dating should be viewed as an investment. An investment in your future, ladies. Investment in your future, young men. If there's no future, you don't see no future, don't make no investment. If you're dating someone and you know it can't go no further than this, don't date him or her. If you're trying to save yourself for marriage, seductive movies can awaken passions in you that will bring about compromise, that will cause you to compromise your values. So if you're trying to hold out, be careful what you watch. Singles, present your bodies as a living sacrifice unto God, wholly acceptable unto Him, which is your reasonable service. Keep it that way until God sends you your husband or your wife. Singles, don't marry a man or a woman that you can live with. Marry the one you can't live without.
All right.
Don't marry the man or the woman that makes you the butt of his jokes in front of all of his friends.
Amen.
A joke is only funny if everyone is laughing.
Say that again.
Don't marry an unsaved woman or unsaved man. There's no agreement there. And you can't walk together except you be agreed. Share personal I do's and I don't before you get to the altar and you find out on your wedding night, I don't. Don't marry a controlling, violent man or woman. Pay attention to the warning signs. If he's putting his hands on you before you say I do, it's only going to get worse later.
Say that.
Don't let him fool you and say, I'll never hit you again once we get married. He'll hit you harder once you get married. A young man needs to know how to be a gentleman to a lady before he can be a husband to a wife.
Amen. Amen.
Fathers, you need to teach that to your sons. The Bible says, flee also youthful lusts. Let me tell you, old folks can lust too.
Amen.
Don't compromise your position. Singles, living together is not an option. He can't buy the car. Don't let him go through any inspections. Don't let some cheap one-night experience rob you of what is meant to glorify God. God is calling you to excellence, and any cheap affair in a backseat robs you of that. Tips on reviving your marriage. I'm going to go through this real quick. Sometimes buying a little inexpensive gift for your spouse and putting it in a drawer, like a sock drawer, handkerchief drawer, sock drawer, putting a little note in that drawer can be a very meaningful experience when they pull out their drawer for a sock and there's a "I love you" note on top. Single rose laid on his or her pillow at night can mean a lot. His or her favorite candy served on a tray unexpectedly can bring a smile to his or her face. A card taped to the dashboard of his or her car. When she get inside and she see a note from you, it can make the drive much more pleasant. An envelope filled with chocolate kisses laid on the seat where that loved one was just sitting when they went to get a drink from the kitchen can mean a lot. Action does speak louder than words. A godly woman is to honor, and Bishop talked about it, submitting to her husband. But submit, ladies, not like a slave to her master, but like a queen to her king.
All right.
I'm going to say this and we're going to move on. We're designed to enjoy the highest form of physical expression. That expression of love between a husband and a wife. When together, hand in hand, they climb the mountain. As you begin your journey, it's important to know what arouses and what satisfies him and her. Provocative clothing in the bedroom, touching, comforting words can enhance a relationship.
Show enough.
Sometimes
That's all right. That's all right. It's the truth. It's all right, brother.
Sometimes sexual ignorance plays a big role in relationships.
Amen.
Yes, Lord.
And the sexual act becomes a chore rather than an expression of love.
Big one.
When in doubt, ask. There's a difference between accepting your mate and enjoying your mate.
Amen.
Yes, Lord.
Accepting is a requirement. Enjoying is a blessing.
Oh, God,
Imagine. Just use your imagination for a moment. You don't have to be godly to do it, but just use your imagination.
Amen.
As hand in hand, we climb to the mountaintop. Not a physical mountaintop. Wink, you know. Hand in hand, we climb to the mountaintop and know one another. As the Bible says that Adam knew Eve, his wife. There's a difference, you know, between knowing and laying with. 2 Samuel 11:4 says David lay with Bathsheba.
Oh, wow.
That was not his wife. Elkanah knew Hannah, his wife, as Abram knew Sarah, his wife. God sanctified that relationship between husband and wife. So, brothers, it's all right to know your wife. Marriage should still be romantic, as romance is biblical. Song of Songs is one of the hottest romances on record. Song of Solomon 1 and 2 tells the story of a young Shulamite bride and Jerusalem's daughter. She says, "May he kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is better than wine. Your oils have a pleasing fragrance." Your name is like purified oil.
All right then.
Therefore the maidens love you. Draw me after you and let us run together. For the king has brought me into his chambers. While the king was at his table, my perfume gave forth its fragrance. Somebody understands. I hear some humming back there. My beloved is to me a pouch of myrrh.
Rap Solomon.
It lies all night between my breasts. My beloved is to me a cluster of henna blossoms in the vineyard.
That's Bible.
Yes, sir.
How beautiful you are, my
Come
darling.
on and rap.
How beautiful you are, for you are. Your eyes are like doves,
Yeah.
Ah.
like an apple tree among the trees of my forest.
Yeah, rap.
So is my beloved among the young men. In his shade, I took great delight and sat down, and his fruit, it was sweet to my taste. Let his left hand be under my head, and let his right hand embrace me. These two are in love, and they're enjoying each other's fragrance.
Yes.
These two are so overcome with each other that they can hardly find words to express their desire, so they resort to other images of trees and the taste of fruit. Some have taken the same attitude and they call their husband honey. They call their wife baby, or they call their husband sugar. Couples may develop a private vocabulary and talk in public in a very private way. It's a private way that only they can understand. It could be a wink of the eye, a caress of the shoulder, a tug on his tie. You get it. You can find your own language.
Yeah.
You can talk to the one you love and send a message that lets him or her know that they are very special to you.
Yes.
Husbands and wives should never be ashamed of their love for each other.
Amen.
It could lead to something so beautiful. A lovely evening could turn into a beautiful night. Husbands and wives can recapture spiritual virginity even in their marriage. Yes, I said spiritual virginity in their marriage.
Yes.
It's good, especially if you feel the need to start over.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's been hurt feelings in a marriage and you need to start over.
Yeah.
You can have the glory of virginity restored to your spirit, so your marriage bed is no longer defiled by hurt, pain, or mistrust. Allow your marriage bed to be a place of healing and restoration. Set the atmosphere by setting out some candles. Get some rose petals, some perfume. Have a warm bath running. Give your partner a soothing massage. You can use your imagination.
Yeah.
Enter as though it's your first time. Renew your vows. There are no rules. You can enjoy the slow, I said slow atmosphere as old things pass away. And you holler, behold, all things have become new.
Go ahead,
What they doing?
I have to quit.
Right.
We have to move on to questions. I'm going to say this. Action does, with all I've said, action does speak louder than words. If you would do me a favor, turn to your partner, your husband, your wife, and say, action does Speak louder than words. Your partner's not here. Tell them something that was said. Bring out a song of Solomon. Just share one verse and say action does speak louder than words. Put your hands together at this time.
Come on. Put your hands together. Amen. Cause us to reflect.
Praise
Amen.
God.
Some tremendous information that Hosea said, my people are destroyed
What?
for the lack of knowledge.
My God.
Knowledge is powerful. And sometimes even in relationship, we need to have knowledge on how to make our relationships function in God's design.
Amen.
If you look at those light bulbs, those lights there, those lights don't operate on negative current. No, they don't. What they operate on is positive and negative. Your car don't operate on positive. It takes a negative pulse as well as a positive pulse. I found out that what is most important is the negative. Is the negative. Positive things we tend to quickly forget. But if you ever burnt your hand on a stove,
My God.
All right.
y'all hear what I'm saying? If something negative has impacted your life, you'll never forget it.
Amen.
You'll always remember. Some things that are positive that's happened in our lives, sometimes we might be remiss and forget them. But anytime something negative occurred, we always can, in our mind, we can get the smell of it, we could get the sensations of it, because it had a negative impact. And that's how it is even in our marriages. Sometimes it's the negative things that really binds us and brings not just positives, but the negatives. It takes negative and positives. I said that marriage is like an EKG machine. I said that the other night. Amen. EKG machine that you see a straight line going across. Your marriage is dead. Your marriage has flatlined. But when you see this up and down, that's life in your marriage. The peaks and the valleys of a marriage. So tonight, amen, we appreciate you that are here. I hope that something's been said. I want to answer a few of these questions that were submitted. I had on last night those that were here to write down some questions, and we wanted to try to answer a few of them, and so on. There's so much going on, and I really want this session to really cause us to really think on our relationships and what can I do to make my home better? Am I building up my home, or am I tearing my home down? We all have the power of life and death within us, and we can speak life to our relationships, or we can speak death. And there's a thing called a self-fulfilling prophecy. In other words, Job said, the thing that I feared the most is the thing that have come upon me. And if you speak life to your marriage will live. If you speak life to your spouse will move on further. If you speak life to whatever it is that's going on in your situation or in your life, you speak to that, and you'll see significant things happen. If you speak negatively, then negative things will occur because, amen, the power of life and death is in what we say. So tonight, let me just answer a few of these. One question said, how, well, I tell you what, you read them. If you're not going to, you read them.